across the ultimate daily driver, or heck, the ultimate all-round car, after we did a full review on Jordan's Seat Leon Cupra estate. The car impressed us with its overall quality, blew us away with the handling capabilities, and the performance was downright ridiculous for a family estate car, which Jordan and his partner use as a daily driver. But, as a petrolhead, and I'm sure a lot of you can relate, I can't help but modify every car I own, which begs the question on a car that ticks every box. Should you modify the ultimate daily? Will it ruin the drivability? Will it ruin the comfort? And so on. Just to recap, the standard Leon Cupra produced 295 brake horsepower and 400 Nm of torque from its 2-litre turbo petrol engine. This resulted in a 0 to 60 time of 4.7 seconds, which we actually tested in the previous video, in the rain. And it also boasted a top speed of 155 miles per hour, which we didn't test unfortunately. We are going to be testing the 0 to 60 again in this video to compare it to the factory numbers in the real world. So what modifications have been done? Well, engine-wise, we now have a Direnza intake, Direnza Sport Cat downpipe, a custom 3-inch non-resonated exhaust, and a Direnza MVT intercooler. The ECU and TCU was then mapped by Artec and made 387 brake horsepower and 562 Nm of torque. Suspension and brakes, we have H&R 25mm lowering springs, which make it sit lovely. A subframe dead set kit. I actually had no idea what this was until I googled it, but it's basically a kit that replaces factory hardware with machined collars and bolts to eliminate subframe movement. It's equipped with Brembo 4-pot calipers with 370mm discs and Mintex MRF 1801 pads. It's now sitting on Sparco Assetto Gara wheels wrapped in Continental Sport Contact 7s. Exterior-wise, Jordan's added a few touches to make the car look even more aggressive. And finally, the interior has a few upgrades like this carbon fibre steering wheel and carbon fibre shift paddles. It's crazy, when you go fast in this thing, you need to remind yourself that you're in a big family estate car. And then when you're driving slow, you need to remember that you're in an almost 400 brake horsepower performance car. It is literally Jekyll and Hyde, and this is what we said in the previous video. This may well be one of the best all-round cars that I've ever come across, and does not break the bank. I come from a generation where you could only basically have one. If you want your car to be fast and cheap, then you would have to sacrifice comfort, and if you want it to be comfy and cheap, then you have to sacrifice the speed. But this, especially the state it's in now, like I said, in a factory car, it has to be comfy because you've got to satisfy multiple regions, so it needs to be a bit of an all-rounder. But what Jordan's done to this, the fact that it's now lowered on bigger wheels, it is sat beautifully. I was expecting it to be a bit crashy, and it's definitely firmer, but I reckon if you didn't tell anyone, then they genuinely wouldn't know that this was lowered, because the difference is absolutely minimal and is definitely worth the sacrifice because it looks amazing. But then when you put it into Cupra mode and start throwing it through corners, it is so sharp. The exhaust is a 3-inch non-resonated turbo back, and as you can probably hear now, this is a bit of an unusual one because we're sort of coasting down a hill, not coasting, it is in gear, but we're rolling downhill and you can hear the drone. But for daily driving, I asked Shannon and I asked Jordan, because they do literally take the kids out in this. The exhaust doesn't intrude too much, and I love it, Shannon said she literally feels like the coolest mum on the school run. And that's the thing. This car, I think, just suits any situation, especially the way it looks now, because I'm very much into modifying. It looks great, it sounds great, but it can be a civilized family car when you want it to be. So the most important thing is the drivability. Has it lost that, oh yeah, because again, when you think, oh, you're pumping more power through it, you've got all these mods, does it drive any different? And this being the DSG, you need to find a reputable company. That's why Jordan went with Artec. Now, Artec have been mapping VAG cars since day dawn. They are very well known in the VAG community, and there is a reason why. Once again, if you put anyone in this car, you would not know that it's been mapped, and that is, I mean that in the nicest way possible, because it feels OEM. The power delivery is still incredibly smooth when you're driving normal, because anyone can map a car to make it feel fast, but to still have the comfort and drivability in the normal modes is where the company shines through. So I'm not ragging up here, but these are our normal bumpy roads. It's just, it is mind-blowing how it takes the bump so well. The DSG, I've always said I'm not a fan of when you're not going 10 tenths. And you can see, you obviously do get that little bit of lag when it's trying to decide what gear in comfort modes. But because it's in comfort modes, will I forgive it? Yeah, so even when I'm being harsh, I will forgive it because it's still an auto. And for daily driving, I would choose the auto over the manual. Jesus. So my other concern, in the previous video, we said it was the perfect amount of power for the platform. Jesus Christ. So my concern was, is this now going to be too much power for that absolutely, to quote me in the last one, the grip level being almost comical. It is that much grip. Is it going to affect that at all? Because we are talking about a lot more power and a lot sharper response. But as we go through the corners, we are on Continental Sport Contact 7s. Let's see if we can be a bit rough. Oh my God. This car just does not misbehave, even if you're a naughty boy. This is... Okay, yeah, this is why I love modifying cars. Oh my flipping God, this is ridiculous. So, does it affect... does it affect the handling? I really don't know how VAG get these cars to grip so well. So I started off going through the first couple of corners, just getting a feel for it. And instantly I thought, okay, it's very, very tame. You can literally, geez, the kick is unfreaking believable. And you do get the little burbles on the downshift only when you're in Cupra mode. I hate pops and bangs, but these are deep burbles, which I am a massive, massive fan of. So we always say the four-wheel drive platforms tend to be, they're much safer options, dare I say boring. At this power level, Jesus, I could not get it to misbehave then. Which, okay, like we always say, oh, I like a fun car, I like a fun car. The fun in this comes in the fact that you feel invincible. I'm trying to get it to understeer through a corner to see how it responds. And it's just like, no, it's like, no, what else have you got? Like, my adrenaline's pumping for that reason then. Which I have said previously can be a negative because the confidence it gives you is ridiculous. But what I will go back to say, as I always say, is let's go back into comfort mode. That the whole car just goes, ah. The big question then, is it worth modifying your daily driver? The VAG platform continues to amaze me as a feat of engineering. They absolutely know what they're doing. And I can't believe I just come absolutely hooning up that hill, exhaust burbling, throwing it through corners. And yet now I'm back in comfort mode, going over these horrible roads. And not once have I thought about complaining about the suspension. Obviously there's a limit to everything. I imagine once you go bigger turbo, because I do believe this is on the standard turbo, which is really impressive. It'll obviously get to a point where it may get a bit more jerky. It'll get a bit loud, a bit rattly. But at the moment, George, what you've done with this thing, what an all-round. I challenge anyone to find me a better all-rounder for this price range, because this is ridiculous. Right, that's the draggy setup. Let's see if we can get this launch control nailed.
30, 60.
Jesus Christ, this thing launches insane, especially for an estate car. So in standard form, in the previous video, I managed to hit a best time of 4.6. On the first run, I managed to get a verified time of 4.33 seconds to 60. Very impressive for an estate car. And go. On the second run, I hit 4.21 seconds. That has really impressed me.
Yeah, seems like
a decade ago since we've been in something like this.
Yeah, it was a while ago.
Whoa, my God, this thing's planted, man. Jesus, it gives you so much confidence though, doesn't it? I said on the way down, it feels like it haven't got a turbo because it's so smooth. There's no real lag.
No, it's very, like I said, very minimal, and I'm assuming if it has, I will double check. If it's got the factory turbo, that's one of the main benefits.
That's it, yeah, you're not got a massive turbo sucking all that.
No, but it freaking punches you like you got a big turbo.
It really does. Look at it, it just keeps on pulling as well, doesn't it? Oh! It just gives you that confidence to just go flat foot.
Yeah.
As I said, the way it grips. Look at this now, just straight into a corner, onto the brakes, a little bit of squirrel in as expected. And this is what we were saying about these things driving so good. Like I said, on the brakes and into the corner, because our bike, I just didn't want to drift over. Do you know what? I know we say the front wheel drive stuff in the last video, but this is just, they're so different.
Very, very different.
They just give you a completely different experience. Like that front wheel drive, you're hanging onto it, trying to just get it round the corner in the best way you can. This thing just wants to go around everything. It doesn't give you any drama.
No. And I said, where we say, it can be boring, I think the fun in this comes from, like, it's ridiculous. How are you gripping so well? That's where the fun comes in.
You're right, yeah.
You are pushing the limits of physics, and the car's just like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, well, that's all you've got. That's what it seems like, isn't it? It's just, like you said, it's almost comical how well they just grip and go.
Yeah.
And I know we said when we drove it at the 290, it was like the perfect package. No, I was wrong.
I said my main thing of this video was, has it ruined that? Because it was the perfect amount of power for the platform.
Yeah.
And after ragging it up there and getting my adrenaline going, no, it still feels incredibly capable. And it doesn't feel like, for me anyway, it didn't feel like it was breaking a sweat. I was sweating more than the car was.
You do, like I said, I was trying to make it do something, and it was only under the braking, obviously, where you're shifting the weight. You can feel a slight bit of squirrel in, but
yeah.
Even that, it's just like, that's all you've got.
Yeah.
You know, it just doesn't even affect it in any way. Like I said, most cars coming up through there, especially like say for my Astra VXR, for example, when I was running sport, you know, big power, that was just dramatic. Whereas this, you can sort of throw at anything you wanted in, it just takes it. Look at this.
So my main thing for the video was, is it worth modifying? Like, because Shannon and Jordan daily this, I mean, the kid seat is still in the back.
Yeah.
Again, a lot of people will be like, well, you're not modifying the daily, but especially if you're trying to convince the other half, you're not modifying it, it's going to ruin the drivability. It's like, do you think, because I daily drive a Fiesta at the moment, so we daily different. Would you consider this like a comfy enough daily to do your daily duties in, as well as doing?
100%. Like I said, yeah, the ride is a little bit more firm now, obviously, where it's been lowered, but it's not crashy.
Yeah,
you were just about to say
that's the word I was going to use. Yeah.
So,
well, when Jordan said after the last video, he was like, I'm going to modify, he's going to do a few visuals, and I was like, oh no, he could ruin such a nice car. But honest to God, not just saying it because he is a good mate of mine, he has nailed it.
He has. The wheels suited, the little lip on the front, the little Maxton spoiler. It just works so well. And the colour, like I said, the colour just, in the shade, it's dark, it looks really aggressive, but in the light, it really pops. And what a package,
the copper contrast as well, which I wouldn't go for, but after seeing him, I'm like, I'm glad he's done that.
It works. It really works. And yeah, I absolutely love this thing.
Yeah.
And as a daily driver, perfect all-rounder for the kids. You can even put the dog in the back because it's the estate. Do you know, and I was saying when you first pulled up in here, the Golf R is usually known as I would definitely choose one of these over the Golf R.
No, this is such a good example. It has convinced me I would save, and you save a bit of money by going stay out of a Volkswagen, which is nuts.
It's the same car. So
yeah, it is literally just in a different dress. So.
And I think it's a prettier dress.
Yeah, I was umming and ahhing before, but now I can 100% agree with you.
I'm convinced.